Hi, it's Lethea from Farm View Creators. Today we're going to work on the Christmas countdown insert for the Interchangeable Wagon. This is a wonderful wood kit from the Rust Covered Cottage by Christina. So I am placing all of my pieces on my sticky board and I'm categorizing them based on what colors I'm thinking of painting them. And I do this because it helps them not wiggle around and holds them steady, because some of these pieces are quite small and fragile, so I don't want them to wiggle around too much when I'm trying to paint. And I'm going to put down a couple of strips of tape just to hold down the pieces that I'm going to stain, and I'm going to use a baby wipe and paint Couture's Van Dyke Brown semi-gel stain for this. I love this stain so much. Gonna give that a good dry and then flip over my pieces and do it again. I did not flip over that bottom base piece with the slats in it because that will not be visible, but the front and the back could be, depending on where you put your wagon at, and those number pieces are going to be double-sided, so I wanted to make sure it was nice and finished. Then I'm going to go in with Evergreen, which is a mineral acrylic, on the trees and the words to go on the key backboard, and then do the key and 2 ornaments with British Gray. These are all going to be mineral acrylic paints from Paint Couture. This color that I'm working on now is Angelic. It is a really nice soft white, and I am using makeup sponges to apply the paint. This helps keep it from gooping up in the crevices of the letters. It also helps you control how much paint you're applying at once. So I'm using super thin layers. I'm going to do at least 2 layers on all the colors. On the red, which is coming up, I'm going to use Barn Door, and I'm going to do 3 layers for that one, just to make sure that I had nice even coverage without a lot of streaking in that red. Reds take a little extra care sometimes. They like to be extra. So just getting that second layer on, making sure it's dry between the coats, and thin coats. And now I'm going to go in with that barn door, and I'm going to get the words, the stop sign, the ribbon, and the numbers. And I did clip off the end of my makeup sponge because I have used this one before and it was a little crusty. So I just snipped off that end and gave it a nice, clean, soft starting point. And then I am just dipping it in my cap of my paint, wiping it off on the edges if I get too much, and then I'll gently dip in. I did kind of use a dabbing motion on the letters because they are very thin and just a gorgeous cut and font, but I wanted to make sure that I was not tugging on those because I can tend to be a little rough on my kits sometimes. So I was trying to be extra sweet to it and not mess it up in any way. And now I'm going to go in with some Luxe metallic paint colors, and I'm going to use my little tool that holds the tiny little sponges. This is actually an ombre nail tool from Amazon. It costs like $4 and you get 100 sponges and the metal piece. So I'm using Cardinal Red, Emerald, and Teal on the ornaments. I did about, I think, 4 ornaments in just plain mineral acrylic, and then the others I did with the sparkle, just so that the tree would have some variety and more texture and dimension. Now I'm going to go in with my Debi's DIY Dark Wax, and I'm going to brush that around the edges, wipe it back with my fingers anytime I need to. This just gives it a little more of a rustic feel. It gives it some dimension and just really gives it that aged feeling. Then I'm going to go in with my favorite top coat. This is Dead Flat Top Coat by Couture. It is amazing. It takes out the shine. Does not take out the shine on those Luxe Metallics though. So they're still going to be sparkly and nice. Everything else is going to be a beautiful matte color in there. You could see the change. I did let it air dry for a little bit. Now I'm going to take off all of my pieces, go ahead and sit them together and kind of lay them out the way that I am going to glue them, just to make sure that I like how it is before I glue it. And I'm loving art glitter glue, and you'll see why. Right here on this stop sign, one of the things I love is that even after you put it down and you kind of give it a little pressure, you can still wiggle those pieces if you need to. So I had my here, and a couple of those letters were crooked, and I have a little bit of OCD, so I could not handle that. So I just kind of wiggled them around until I was happy with it. But I could do that because art glitter glue gives you some playtime. And it also dries clear and does not make your fingers crusty, which is really important to me because I do not like any kind of crust. I did go in before I started gluing down the letters and make sure that I knew what letters I needed to have on each side so that I could make all the combos of 0 to 25. I actually asked some AI to help me out with that. So I have a little note telling me what to put on what side and layer up, and I am doubling them up. I'm making sure that I'm lining them up so that they're positioned correctly across the numbers. And then the pieces that we've already put together, they go in this base. I'm not going to glue them down so that I can store it more easily, but there it is in the wagon, and I just love how it turned out. I hope you do too. Please, if you do, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.